Hi everybody, my name is Sierra Carr and I did my resource project on sociocultural learning theory. The sociocultural learning theory falls under the constructivist viewpoint that people like Piaget and Brunner were essential in founding, in that it deals with learning by doing. This particular theory combines social learning and interactions with environment and language. The key founder of the theory is Lev Vygotsky, who felt that interacting and working with others was a key component to learning. As you can see in this cloud, all of this is represented along with terms such as the zone of proximal development and scaffolding. We'll discuss all of these during this presentation. Now let's learn a little bit more about Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky was born in Russia in 1896 and died at the early age of 37. His work began when he was studying learning and development to improve his own teaching. His experience, together with his interest in literature and his work as a teacher, led him to recognize social interactions and language as two central factors in cognitive development. His theory became known as sociocultural theory of development. And as you can see by this diagram, the sociocultural theory of development emphasizes the crucial influence that social interaction and language embedded within a cultural context have on cognitive development. Now let's talk about social interaction. Vygotsky emphasized that effective learning happens through participation in social activities. He also stated that parents, teachers, and other adults in learners' environment all contribute to the process. They explain, model, assist, give direction, and provide feedback. Peers simply enrich the learning experience. Here's an example of social interaction working to help a child learn. And as you can see in the picture, there's a parent helping a young child to walk. Now, after the parent gives all of this assistance, eventually the child will soon be able to walk on their own. It's a pretty simple explanation, but it gets the point across. Now let's talk about language. Language can be viewed as a verbal expression of culture. It opens the door for learners to acquire knowledge that others already have just by talking to each other. It also is used to know and understand the world and to help people solve problems. And last, it can serve a social function and an individual function, in that it helps the learner to regulate and reflect on their own thinking. In this page, it talks about private speech, which is basically a form of self-talk that children usually do to help them kind of guide their own thinking. And as you can see, you have a child working on math problems and they'll think out loud and try to remind themselves how to do a multiplication problem or what sound the letter makes while they're trying to make a word. So this is how children learn how to kind of regulate their own thinking, which is what we always want our students to do. Now we'll talk about the zone of proximal development. This is a simple concept in that it's the difference between what a person can do on their own and what they can do with the help of a more knowledgeable person. And as you can see in the top picture, you have the middle green section is what a person can do on their own. They know how to do it. It's very simple for them. And then the blue section is where it's too challenging. They can't figure it out. They don't know how to get to that part. It's too hard, and most likely they'll shut down. But if you have somebody that's more knowledgeable, such as an adult or more knowledgeable peer or a teacher of some sort that can help and guide the student, they can reach this purple section, which is considered the zone of proximal development. And that's what they can do with help. And eventually their green section will grow once they learn it. but we definitely don't want students getting to that outside section where it's too challenging, because they will shut down, and then it will be a lot harder for them to actually learn it in the future. Along with the zone of proximal development comes scaffolding. Scaffolding is basically the amount of support that a child is given that lets them complete a task that they could not complete independently. And as you can see, it goes hand in hand with the zone of proximal development. If that teacher or that more knowledgeable adult or peer works with the child, then they can, by doing that or scaffolding, they can get that child out to their zone of proximal development where they're learning a lot more. And as you can see in the other picture right here, that there's different strategies that you can use to help scaffold, and you can use read alouds, modeling, working with intentional small group partners, meaning maybe a student that doesn't know a subject is working with another student that knows it very well. You can use sentence starters or structures, which are very good to help the thinking process start. You can use first language, you can use a lot of visuals, graphic organizers, and you can always connect to background knowledge. Now, some examples of scaffolding would be if you had a student that was trying to open a milk carton and couldn't figure out how to do it. To actually help by scaffolding, you would open it up a little bit and then allow the child to finish the activity, finish what he was doing, finish opening the milk. But an example of what would not be considered scaffolding would be to have the child watch you fully open the milk. That's not helping them. That's just doing it for them. By scaffolding, you're helping them understand and learn how to actually do what they are trying to do. Now, coming to the end, basically overall, teachers need to know that adults and peers are critical to the learning process through scaffolding and understanding the zone of proximal development. And these are the major branches to understanding Vygotsky's sociocultural learning theory. And that is a very large theory condensed into a very small presentation, but it did hit all of the branches that make the theory what it is. So, thank you.